Letty Marcus again. I want to talk to you again. I made it no secret. I come before you trying to be honest, and some might say that I want to appear as an angel of God, and I do. And others might say that I'm just a demon from hell. Well, in a statement like that, I would sort of, to a certain degree, leave that challenge, leave that approach. You see, I am the one who will come before you and say to you that I have served as an angel of Satan. And if you want, if I don't want to, or if you don't want to give me that status, then I can just say I was a victim of Satan. I was used by Satan, or I used Satan to live in me to a certain degree. I say that because, like all of us, we've been brought up in a situation where that's what we've been introduced to from our beginning. Now, we haven't been told that we were introduced to that because perhaps they don't know that this is that. Maybe to realize that this is junk, something else has to happen. Maybe a spiritual awakening. I know it. If you don't, I don't know why. But I do. So what am I trying to say to you? I'm trying to say to you, let me explain to you, as one who sees Satan, one who knows Satan, when I say Satan, I'm talking about the devil. I don't know no other figure now. Horny figure. I just heard people talk about that. I don't know anything about that. I know the spiritual devil. And the spiritual devil, I can see it in what has just happened in this presidential election, and even before then. What has happened, ladies and gentlemen, is that you, the American people, have been sucker punched. You don't even know it. But let me share with you the devil in that. The things that were being said about the Clintons, it's been said a long time, over and over and over again. And yet, the Clintons have still been riding the tide. So whether it was true or not, they rode the tide. And it's been leading up all of these years for a purpose. Let's say it was true. How could they ride the tide if it were true? If there was a game plan. As long as you, the people, accepted it, the powers that be will let it ride. Or if there's a connection through some secret organization, some secret plan, and that's what it's all about. And to be a member of it, knowing that you can be used for the benefit of that group that you are part of, which has more respect and requires more of you and gets more allegiance from you than the nation does. So, here's what you got. You got somebody writing for a purpose. And then you've got another person. Trump. Everybody knows Trump. Those who should. You know he's never done anything for anybody. And you know his personality. He doesn't hide that. I heard him talking at a conference the other day, and a news guy that he was pissed off with CNN or something like that. Guy want to ask a question, and all of that ugliness in Trump, talking about, I'm not going to ask you a question, treated the reporter like, wow, what is this? And there were people who loved it. They thought that's the way to do it, that's the way to do it. But see, that's the way we've been trained. We have been trained by a power that we can't see outside of ourselves to be low down, dirty, and heartless, divided, conquered. And this whole election was about trying to see if we were yet conquered, if evil had conquered this nation. This is why you had two evil individuals. Now, Sanders tried to interrupt that. Sanders came in on the side, speaking the same concerns that address people who have been left out. They loved it. They loved it real well. They loved it more than they loved Clinton. But Sanders is not a part of the plan. And so actions had to be taken to get Sanders out of it. And Sanders, even though he had gotten out of it based upon the way the Democratic structure works for the He could have, if it was in his heart, if he really cared above all of that for the American people, especially those that were suffering, he could have stood out on his own. And he could have done that. He might gave a little indication that he was going to do that. But he was brought to the side. And the devil in that is this, is that you can bet your last money. The reason that they passed a law that allowed the permission for people to go and read your mail and your emails, to tap you, to do all these things, to keep cameras on you, it's not to protect you. It's for the power that be to watch its flock. It's for the power that be to use for their benefit. To watch everything you do. So if you're living in a situation, ladies and gentlemen, that is representative of evil. And if some of you get a conscience and want to step outside the line or don't have a conscience and just go way deep in the rabbit hole, and then one day you decide to get a conscience, they keep you controlled that way. It's like they're going to tell Sanders, you got to get out of here. And Sanders could have been committed to us and to his ideas, but they had something. Or let's say we don't know if he had something. The Spirit to me says it is. But let's say we don't know, and for the benefit, he did have something. But think about this. If they had something, based upon the evidence of the way it has worked in the past, would he stay in or step out? The evidence is that he would have stepped out. Why? Because those who did not step out were killed. So we can see that. So I'm telling you, in all of the time, through your education system, whether it's at public schools or whether it's the TV or the radio or the records, things like this, whatever is going on, all to teach you to have a certain thought. And if you are being deceived, thinking that this is a normal life, and everybody and all the programs telling you that this is the greatest life of all life on earth, the greatest life since the existence, when you keep being told that, when you be constantly being told that, really, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know how that simply works, it's like the Santa Claus thing. Everybody knows that Santa Claus doesn't exist, but they keep perpetuating the idea that Santa Claus exists. In every generation after generation, they keep on saying that Santa Claus exists. Why? That's part of the program. That's the part of the mind control that is set into the people. Now, here we go. We have presented evil before the people. And now we must test to see if our programming has worked. That's what the whole purpose was. Has the program worked? Have the American people been conquered? Conquered by this vision. And each one given in because they don't care about the other. And that's how they're conquered. Because they don't care about the other. That's how they're conquered. And so, while people think they're good, when they think they're kind and wonderful, they look at what's before them. And they see evil. And so they look for what they think is the lesser of the evils. Why? Because that's all they know. They've been programmed. And this particular one, perhaps they all are, but this particular one was definitely a test. And what did the American people do? Having evil presented before them, they stepped to the polls, championing, pulling people their way, trying to get support for their evil. Going over here trying to get support for their evil. Over here trying to get support for their evil. And walked on down, and the powers that be sitting back there watching. And you went in those polls, and you voted. You cast a ballot and said that evil was okay. And this, in fact, was your choice. You're not recognizing that if your choice won, you considered it before the lesser of two evils. But now that it has won, it is the greatest of the evils. You have taken a top stand of evil. And you didn't even see it like that. You thought you were doing something good. Why? Because you were programmed that way. And you know what? This time, I believe you're going to show it. You're going to feel it. Because the one that you have chosen is already on the stage. He's out front everywhere, letting people know how ugly his spirit is. And the big challenges, all the people around who put him in office really have nothing to complain about. Because it is also in them, this is why they couldn't see clear what was going on. And this is the evidence that there are those who are still in touch with God. The evidence of them, they didn't go to the polls because they knew they would never vote for evil under any circumstance. They wouldn't vote for evil. And so they stayed at home. But the big challenge is, what are you going to do now that evil is on the throne? Maybe not in your heart, but its effect is going to affect those who are left here with all of our love for God are supposed to be examples too, to let those people know that there's another way, in spite of this evil that they've been embracing all their lives. Now there's another way. So what are you going to do? You didn't vote. Are you going to take a stand now? And if you're going to take a stand behind what? Stand up for what you know to be true. And in doing so, it's like a magnet. It will draw. It will draw if there is anyone else out here like that. If there's anyone else out here that cares. But if not, it doesn't make any difference about you, the individual. There's never this, well, let me put it to you this way. The power, the ultimate power of love, let me tell you how it works. Caught one in their own ignorance and revealed the power to that one. In his own ignorance, revealed that power. And the existence, the continual existence of that one is because of that power. Whether that one will admit it or not, hopefully somewhere in the lifespan they will recognize it. The other evidence is this. In a situation where that one had nothing to do with what was going on, the evilness, the spirit of evil had put itself in such a way that that one is going to leave you. But the ultimate power came to the rescue in such a way that there was no doubt that that almighty power was still working. That one has the evidence and has the motivation, has the reason to do what? To walk forward. Knowing that even if he make a mistake himself or herself, that there's one there to protect them, and if it doesn't. And let me tell you, especially when the enemy came at you and you had no knowledge of it, if he can protect you then, hey, that's like walking into the fire furnace ready, because you know that the power is, there's no doubt about the power, it is. So you walk forward knowing that that's the move to make. And if that ultimate power leads you and wants you still, that power can, because you will. And that's all bottom line. We are separated now who can see the light. So I'm saying to you, what sense does it make? What explanation can you give for a man like me living in the United States of America who stands before you and say to you that evil is on the throne? And I say evil is on the throne because of what it represents. I also know what the spirit of love, the spirit of good is all about. I know it's about caring for everybody, everywhere. And caring means peace and prosperity and joy that is offered to all of them. But not just offered, but said and told how to achieve it. How do you achieve it? by treating others like you want to be treated? What are those essentials that are necessary for survival? Food, clothing, shelter, education, and health care. And how can you meet those needs? By putting people in a position with a joyous desire for a career, and that career being made available, and executing that career plays a major part in producing the goods and services that have been determined or essential in the lives of any individual. Hey, that's divine. That's the power that I stand and speak to you about. And if I speak to you about a power like that, how can I be led by a power talking about war? A power talking about building nuclear weapons? A power talking about I'm special, you ain't nothing? How can I follow something like that? How can I tell you that I can't even represent that? I used to. That's why they've done all kinds of things to get something on me, so that when I stand up like I'm doing now, and if you listen, see, if you don't listen, then you got to do nothing. But if you listen, then they pull that stuff up. But whatever they can tell you about me, you can pull up some videos that I already got, some pamphlets I already got, some CDs, some DVDs, some radio programs, some cable programs I've already got. That the information has been given from the horse's mouth. When I was free, there was no shame in my game, and I ain't afraid to tell you the truth. And one thing else about it, ladies and gentlemen, if we do not stand, we could make Nazi Germany look like a paradise. And when I say we, I'm not talking about us just as individuals. There is a power that has taken over us through some mean ways that we were not aware of. The ultimate power knows that. That is why the ultimate power chooses individuals. If you're going to say God's special people, it's those people that he has chosen to represent him. When I say him, I'm referring to something that you've been taught, so you can understand where I'm going. Chosen. You're not good on your own. You were chosen. You were selected. There were people in the same position that you were in when you were chosen that went straight on out of here. That's where we all going. So it's no big thing. You're not special. You were just chosen. And now, having been chosen, you got a responsibility and an obligation to be real, especially in a world that's denying. You can stand up and say, no way, Jose, this is not true, because I can prove that there's a different way. I am the evidence. I am that I am. Well, I don't even know if I did anything to. Oh, yeah, this is what I want to end with. Evil is on the throne. For those of you who serve God, who wants God's will to be real, we got to make it real. And I'm asking us, we can't. In order for this evil to dissipate off this earth, individuals have to change their mind. We can try to stand up for the wiping out of the ugliness, so the influx of love can flow. We can stand up for that. That's all we can do. But it's beyond words. We got to attack that ugliness. We got to attack that cancer. I'm not talking about killing anybody. I'm not talking about trying to get people arrested. What attack means, exposing the situation, but not only just exposing it, but showing the solution. I mean, that's what the world do. They create the problem. And their solution is always something that works for you, but better for them. This way, ladies and gentlemen, is better for everybody. But it's the decision that has to be made by you. All can be done. If you believe it, walk it. That will be your talking. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, meaning paradise for you. Bye-bye. long time coming, y'all. But I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, and I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. Ooh, it's been a long, long time coming. I know, yeah. Then I go to the movie and I go downtown.